What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Casper Chronicles. It's your boy Casper, and today we have a different deck profile than I told y'all we would get. There's been an issue with the post office, so we're still waiting on one card. We have all of the other cards except for just the one, which is the Shaddoll Schism. Spoiler, right? But as soon as we get that, or if the Megatons get here first and Schism is in there, it depends on the post office as to when exactly we're going to be able to do that deck profile. So in the meantime, I wanted to share with you guys my top 4 locals Tribrigade, pure Tribrigade deck profile. All right, there's no zoos in here or nothing. I do like the zoo build, but I was kind of feeling this build better yesterday when I played. But before we get into the deck profile, I want to talk to y'all about something else. So we'll be right back with that. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and take a look here, right? So the last deck profile video we did got 887 views, which is spectacular. Thank you guys so much, right? But we only have 87 subscribers, which means 0.7% of my subscribers, of you guys, have watched the videos. And 99.3% of those of the people that viewed these deck profiles, well, this deck profile, aren't subscribed. So let's try to get some incentive here, right? So if we can reach 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year, I will do a massive giveaway. What that giveaway is, I'm not sure. I will definitely let you know in the next video for sure. But with that being said, let's go ahead. Let's try to get this taken care of and figured out, and make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell for when, you know, like that big announcement of the massive giveaway, and when we do more deck profiles, more pack openings, so on and so forth. So yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into that deck profile. All right, so we'll just start with the main deck. We'll move these out of the way. All right, and then we'll do it like this. All right, so 3 Rescue Cat. Of course, this card is ridiculous. It's a 1-card like ability to get into Zeus. It's a 1-card Farragut. It's honestly a 1-card Link 2 of whatever you want. Right, well, in Tribrigade, which is usually a Farragut, or if you just have the most awkward hand in the world and you're able to do random things with and make Bear Broom, sure. But I do like this, the flexibility of this. I literally resolved this like 3 times yesterday because it always got met with Imperm. It always got met with Gamma. Or just any other hand, Ash, any other hand trap that stops his cat. It always got met with that. So that was unfortunate, but it is a necessity to play in this deck. So next, of course, 3 Fractal. It's your play starter. Just a little side note in case you don't know or you're not really familiar with Tribrigade. The best time to stop your opponent is Ash the Fractal. Do not let them load up their graveyard. Hey, they activate Fractal, you better ask that, and you forces them to have an extender or another way to get a Tribrigade name, because most of the time when they're activating Fractal and they don't have anything else, right? Or, I mean, if they have Revolt or whatever, they'll still try to do the Fractal play, but for me, if I don't have any other play and I need like an additional Tribrigade monster and I need graveyard fodder in the grave, I'm forced to be in a situation to activate Fractal and try to load up the grave and eventually get like Kuraz or Kit to my hand, right? So if I get stopped on this and I don't have an additional play to continue playing, I'm kind of stuck. I mean, I can normal summon the Tribrigade, like unless it's Nerval or Kit, I mean, that's pretty lit too. But if it's like Kuraz, then I mean, I'm kind of stuck. I don't have graveyard fodder in the grave. I literally have one, and you can't link off Kuraz for El Mirage. So then in that situation, you're just kind of stuck. So the best time to hit them is Fractal, or I mean, of course, if they normal summon Rescue Cat, hit that with something, right? Moving on, Kit. 3 Kit. This has definitely been improved or upped for sure. I used to play 3 Frac, 2 Kit, 3 Nerval, 1 or 2 Kuraz, but man, this card is lit. I mean, we don't play Tribrigade Rendezvous in this build because I mean we're not focused on the barrier statue. This is just pure Tribrigade, and man, this deck is lit. But yeah, Kit, you know, dumps any Tribrigade card to the grave. 3 Nerval. This is just a way to get whatever piece you're missing back to your hand. Say you have Nerval, or not Nerval, Kuraz in your hand, right? And you activate Fractal. They don't ash you. Cool. And I have Kuraz in hand, right? I'm gonna dump Nerval, and I'm gonna add the Kit, right? And then I'm gonna discard Kit to special the Kuraz, right? Which we play 3 of, by the way. Okay. But I'm gonna discard the Kit and to special the Kuraz. I still haven't normal summoned yet. So if they have like a bounce or some ridiculous thing to stop this or not let it remain on the field, right? Like to get it back to my hand or something, cool. I can just normal summon this, and then I have 3 cards minimum in the graveyard already, so I can still kind of do some form of play, right? But moving on, right? Talking about Kuraz. So Kuraz, a lot of people, I've seen people cut it to 2. I've seen a lot of people play it at 3. I personally had it at 2 for quite some time. But man, listen, this card is awesome. It kind of sucks if you open multiple in your hand. But I mean, that's kind of a pick your poison type of thing, right? Like, would you rather see your extender too much or not at all? You know, and I chose, well, too much. Because, I mean, I never drew more than one of him in any of the opening hands that I had yesterday. But Kuraz is really good. Like, you can discard Rescue Cat. You can discard itself. It's just an extender. If your opponent stops your normal summon, you still have a way to continue to facilitate some sort of plays. And I mean, depending on your hand, honestly, you could probably still end on at least a 2 negate Appaloosa with potentially a Revolt set. Which is, I mean, honestly, that's a pretty strong board. I usually do try to get Appaloosa to have 3 negates with a Revolt. But, I mean, sometimes 2 negates and a Revolt is all you need. 3 interrupts is all you need, as long as you know when to hit the other deck. All right? Yeah, that's it for the Tribrigade monsters. On to the hand traps. We did play a pretty hefty hand trap lineup. We played 3 Ash, 2 Bell, 1 Crow, 3 Gamma and the Driver, and 3 Imperm. So the only issue I have with this lineup is Bell, like you kind of want to play it just because of like in the mirror match, or just it can stop Revolt, which is just incredible. Or it can stop adding from the graveyard to the hand, right? So on and so forth, right? But it really didn't do too much for me yesterday. Like I kind of wish I either cut it all together and I played more of another card that you'll see in a little bit, or you know, like I cut these 2, played another Crow, or you know, just anything else, any other extender, or any other hand trap, honestly. But Bell really didn't do very much for me yesterday, which is kind of disappointing. So it'll at least move itself to the side. I'm not gonna cut it all together because this card is a really good card if you're playing against Tribrigade, especially for the Revolt. It stops that and that card's dead. Cool, right? But 3 Ash, of course, you gotta play it. The 1 Crow, it is searchable, right? The 3 Gamma and the Driver. This card is the bane of my existence. I draw this card every single time, no matter what, right? But with Fergie, like, you can put this back in the deck and you can continue to play, right? But okay, say you have to you burn your Gamma on your opponent's turn, right? In the Driver, and they don't kill it. They let the Gamma and the Driver get banished, right? But then you draw into a Gamma for turn, right? So it's kind of dead. Well, I mean, if you have a way to make Fergie, you can just put this Gamma back and draw an additional card, once Fergie leaves the field, right? And you can kind of sort of fix your hand. It's pretty easy. It did come up quite a bit yesterday. And then finally, 3 Imperm. I contemplated Veiler and Imperm. Veiler is another valid target, valid replacement for Ghost Bell. I didn't really think I needed it. Like, I didn't want Tactics to become a really problematic card for me, because I didn't want opponents to be able to trigger that to rip stuff out of my hand. Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, probably Veiler or another Crow or another card, one more of another card that you'll see in a little bit, right? Yeah, that's the hand trap lineup. Excuse me. Onto the spell lineup. We played 3 Tanky, 3 Prosperity, 1 Called By, and 1 Monster Reborn. That is literally the lineup of the spells, because we main decked Imperial Order. But we'll get to this in a second. All right. Let's talk about the spells. It's Tanky, an additional Fractal. Like, it's your way. It's most definitely Ash bait. You already have Fractal in hand. Most definitely activate Tanky first to search the 1 Fractal, right? Or like, let them know, hey, you better have Ash, right? Sometimes people will hit this, sometimes they won't. Just depends on the player. Prosperity. Prosperity was kind of like a last minute choice. It was a very interesting card, that's for sure. There is an argument that I might cut 1 and play like 1 talents or something like that, or cut the Monster Reborn as well and play 2 Prosperity Call By and 2 talents. But I kind of went with this list. I mean, it was unfortunate in the last round of the tournament. I opened 2 Prosperity and I set 1 as a bluff, and he shuffled it back with Heatleo, which kind of sucked, because like, that was literally my only play. I was going to try to bait him with a negate because he had Roar set in the back row. I was going to try to bait his negate with Prosperity to excavate something so I could have an additional like way, because I already had Fractal in hand. And I mean, like, if he didn't have like, if he didn't negate this, I was gonna get something else, possibly a board or a back row wipe, right? And then Fractal, I can just go ham and do a whole bunch of other stuff, right? But he shuffled this back with Heatleo, and then I drew into Ghost Bell, which is another reason I want to cut it, because, man, listen, that card just, it loves me at the most inopportune times. Moving on though, Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave, you gotta play. I like to play it, just because hand traps are very, very prevalent in this format. I mean, I do like to play them in tandem with Driver. It's just an additional disruption. Or did I say Driver? I meant Gamma. Play them in tandem with Gamma. I'm just looking at Driver because Driver's the top card over here. Yeah, I just like to play it in tandem with Gamma. And then Monster Reborn, I literally saw it once. I never ever used it, so that's why like this was going to be another possible removal for talents, or just take it out altogether, because this deck is 41 cards. I couldn't get it down to 40. I mean, if you cut Monster Reborn, sure, you can get it down to 40. If you cut a Prosperity, you can get it down to 40. Leave the Monster Reborn. There are some changes that I will make. I'm going to test it out first, and then I'll let you guys know. Do another deck profile updated with, like what changes I did make. So definitely stay tuned for that. Remember to turn on that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell, so that way you're notified when that deck profile does go live, right? Like I said, like that's literally the spells. We play 8 of them, possibly 7 moving forward, but we'll see. Onto the traps. So it's a very awkward trap lineup, right? So of course, like a lot of people I see cut Strike. Strike is a god card, like, and it's honestly like it's an easy side out for going second, because I mean it does nothing for you going second, as it being a counter trap. Strike is really good still though. I don't know why people are cutting it. I like it a lot, especially in this deck. It's just an additional, well, like if you have Revolt and Strike set, but you weren't able to make like Appaloosa or something, and you have like Rugal or something up there, right? I mean that's another form of disruption to protect your Revolt from resolving. I mean, you can strike the Bell, or another monster negate that they could potentially have on the board, sure. I will always play 3 Strike as long as it's very, very relevant, because Strike is just a god card, right? 1 Imperial Order, like I said, we only play 8 spells, so I mean it's very tactical and awesome to play Imperial Order, because it shuts down most decks. It just eats away at Striker. Imperial Order, and I do play Anti-Spell in the side. So I mean, we were over prepared for Striker, but we never played a Striker, which was unfortunate. But fortunate at the same time. I'm not really a fan of Strikers. Strikers are annoying. I do like Imperial Order. I mean, you can out this with double Dragon Lords too. Like if you're gonna go for game, or you need to activate a spell or something, you have a way to Dragon Lords. You can send this, bounce a card back to your opponent's hand, and boom, proceed to OTK them or whatnot. All right, so the final card, 1 Revolt. So I had the thought process behind this of, Revolt is searchable. I only play 1 Bear Broom to search it, but there were a couple of times yesterday where I wasn't able to make Bear Broom, but I was able to fill up my graveyard and have at least 4 in the grave with, at the very minimum, I could have gone, I had Ferrigide up here. My opponent impermed my second Tribrigade name, because I was going to go for Bear Broom, Ferrigide with the additional monster on the board to make the 3 negate Appaloosa, and then search the Revolt, right? But I mean, I'm very strongly considering putting this back at 2, because it was at 2. I decided to cut it at 1 because it is searchable, right? I just thought I was going to be able to search it all the time, but Revolt is definitely going to go to 2. 3, I don't think it's going to go to 3 in my personal opinion, because you don't want to draw multiple, because it's a hard once per turn, right? And I mean, if you draw multiple, it's a dead card, just like Ghost Bell is potentially a dead card, because you can only activate it, right? And it's dead card. It could be another extender. It could be a strike. It could be a hand trap. Anything. So playing this at 3, I don't think is, in my opinion, I don't think I'll ever play it at 3 again. Definitely gonna probably bump this up, make it a 42, or cut some cards to make it an even 40, or keep it at 41. I'm not sure. That is the main deck. Like I said, it is 41 cards. I couldn't get it down to the 40. Let's go ahead and move on to the extra deck. All right. I apologize, this video is a little long. We're gonna go 2 Shurag. I never went into the second one, but you want to play it in case like Revolt is just a showstopper of a card, right? And you have graveyard fodder in order to normal. Like if you have another Triname in hand, you can normal summon the Triname. Excuse me. Make another Shurag that's 6k, and if it's Fractal, then you have 79 damage. Right, so you literally have to find an additional like 100 points of damage, or I mean, you could honestly make access code, but we'll get into that in a second. The one Appaloosa, like I said, you gotta your end board goal is Appaloosa for at least 2 negates with Revolt set, and I mean either hand traps, strike, or any form of additional disruption that you can back that up with for against your opponent, right? Now, like I was saying, we could have gone access code, right? So if you're able to make you have one of these off of Revolt, right? And you just stopped your opponent's turn. You can either make another one of this with Fractal, or any Triname can banish 3 for either Rugal or Doom Eagle, right? I'm not gonna try to pronounce that card's first name. No, I'm good. But you can make either one of these 2, and then link climb in access code. Access code will be 53, and then you already have 3k, and that's 83, and then you win, right? So I mean, it depends on like the whole situation, and I mean, access code would have at least let's see, with Farajit. If you did this, Farajit, and Bear Broom, that would be 3 pops to remove stuff from the board with access code. But if not, though, I mean, you would have at least 2 if you were able to go to the Appaloosa to stop them, and then they ran over this, and you revolted, brought this out, and you can just wipe their board and proceed to OTK them. Let's clear these guys out of the way here. All right. So for I guess the link 2s, because that was kind of for link 4s and link 3s, but for the link 2s, 2 Farajit. The second one did come up, but unfortunately I did banish it off of Prosperity, because whenever I open Prosperity, especially going turn 1, I do. This is the #1 card that has to go, right? Usually the other package that's in here is partly what goes as well. Farajit, the second one can come up, like I said, but you usually make this first. With like Rescue Cat, you hard make this, so that way like you can bring it back with Revolt and like fix your hand and so on and so forth. But if like your hand's just really awkward, like you can like soft make it with the Tribrigade effect. But remember, if you soft make it like that, you can't you can't bring it back with Revolt, so you can't get that additional draw. But when it leaves the field, you can still get that draw. So 2 Farajit. Like I said, the 1 Bear Broom. I literally went into this like every time I was able to go link climb into Appaloosa and have Revolt set. Only 1. You never want to play 2 and 2, just because like in my opinion the extra deck is so tight. For the Rescue Cat build, and I mean, an argument can be made for the extra deck is really tight for the Zoo build too. Like I said, you only make this once to search out the Revolt, and I mean, if you happen to draw a second Revolt late game, cool, or I mean early game, then I mean I guess you could just not go into this, or you could go into this and kind of bluff your opponent and like search your Revolt, and then if you opened a Revolt, you can put the other Revolt back to the bottom or something. you know, or you could put a different card, and then like they know you have the 1 revolt, but they don't know you have 2, right? So it kind of throws them for a loop. Little head game, sure. The cheatable guy, Ancient Warriors, Double Dragon Lords. This card is ridiculous. Like, the quick effect to send a card, bounce a card, it's pretty insane. Like I said, like, this is your in-deck out to Imperial Order to remove Imperial Order if you're trying to OTK or you need to activate a spell to, like, continue your place, so on and so forth. Or if you have, like, a problem, if your opponent has a problematic monster on the board, cool, you can send something, you can send something to the grave and bounce that monster, and away it goes. Right? This is definitely an MVP. And honestly, it's free. Like, if you have Tanky on board and you make this, you can send Tanky, and it's literally free, which I love that a lot. We have the 1 Almirage. You have to play this in case you open, like, Kit and or Nerval to, like, kind of facilitate and start your plays. It is awkward if you have to normal Nerval or Kit and special Almirage. And honestly, like, if you normal Nerval and you link that off into Almirage and it gets ashed, usually that's not very good for you, because you're definitely gonna hard lose. So yeah, that is it for the links. For the XZs, right? We play the 1 Sky Cavalry, the 1 Downerd, and the 1 Big Daddy Zeus. You have to play it with the Rescue Cat build. This card is so easy to go into with Rescue Cat. You bring out Kuraz and Kit, make this, attack. This is your, like, another out to Dragoon if you don't have a way to get to Shirag, right? Like, as long as this has materials on it, like, you attack something and it doesn't die in battle, and then you detach 1 and return that monster to your opponent's hand. Like, you attack Dragoon. Oh no, you take 1,000 or 2,000 damage, but then you remove Dragoon, and then you just drop Downerd and Zeus, and you just sit pretty on that. Like, with, well, I guess if you have to detach when you're on a 3 material Zeus, but sometimes the 1 board wipe is all you really need. So yeah, the Zeus package. And then finally, since you play the Gamma package, it would behoove you to play Omega. You can make this, rip an additional card out your opponent's hand, so on and so forth. It is really nice. I never made it yesterday. It came down to the point where, like, this was one of the prosperity banished targets, because I had to dig for 6, which was awful. But I ended up winning that game. Yeah, that is the extra deck. Onto the side deck, and then this video is over because it's already extremely long, and I apologize. So we'll kind of go over this pretty quick. Droll, I chose this over Cycle Reader. Droll stops a lot more than, like, just siding for Drytron. Droll stops Drytron, Striker. It can hit Dragon Link, especially their Chaos Engine, or their like their Chaos Engine, like the Search and all that stuff, right? It really hurts Dragon Link, but sometimes they can play around it depending on their hand, which is ridiculously annoying. And I wish Konami would just give the ban hammer to Dragon Link. Yeah, 3 Droll, 3 Nib, Nibiru. I will always play it in the side, just because, like, combo decks are always going to be a thing, and like, combo decks are annoying. I mean, it's nice to just drop a nib on them, especially Dragon Link when they make Savage. Cool, I'm gonna nib you. Your Savage goes away. You don't get to equip. You don't get the negate. You went through all of that just to get Nibiru'd. Cool, your token's like 6K. And I've seen some people where they nib the Dragon Link player, it stops their turn, and then they draw for turn, bait the hand trap, use talents, take the token, and attack with the Nibiru in the token for game, which is incredibly insane. I did think about that combo, but, like, I sided in Nibiru like 2 times yesterday. So yeah, that's it for the monsters. Spells. 3 droplet, 3 twin, 1 duster. Okay, so the droplet, it was either droplet or dark ruler. I chose droplet because, like, if you send like Tribrigade monsters off of your droplets, like you get advantage off of that, and like it does, like it just halves their attack and negates it, right? And then you get advantage because, like, say you like dump Kit and Nerval, like you can dump something with Kit, you can add something with Nerval. Cool, you have 2 engrave, or I'm sorry, at least 2 engrave, right? So you can search like another Triname, normal summon the Triname on your turn, and proceed to kill them or whatever, right? But versus like Dark Ruler, you Dark Ruler them, but you like break their board, and then you have to set up your board and hope they don't break it. I mean, I just like droplets way better than Dark Ruler because I want to be able to smack my opponent at the instantaneous chance that I get. Right, 3 twin. I might cut this to 2 and play something like Pankratops or something. But it is nice. I just wanted additional back row removal, especially like for like prank kids and stuff, because man, prank kids is the bane of my existence. Just to kill their Pandemonium, or if you play Shadal, you can hit their Schism and an additional, and then you get the Tribrigade effects if you discard off of Twin Twisters. So yeah, like Twin Twisters is very valid to play in this deck. And then of course the 1 duster, if you're playing against like a heavy back row deck, you can just wipe their entire back row. And then for the final 2 cards, like I said, I was playing the 2 anti-spell in tandem with the Imperial Order. If you didn't, if you took out the Imperial Order or whatever, or you just had a whole bunch of, you played so much more spells, like you would probably play 2 anti-spell in the main versus the Imperial inside the Imperial. But like this is just a stun card because you flip it up against like Striker and they set 4 or 5 and pass with, I mean, maybe like a Kagari or something, because they can't do anything. I mean, yeah, maybe you'll have to do it like a Widow Anchor or something on your turn, but sure, that's fine. Yeah, that is it for the side deck that I played yesterday. This is again the top 4 build from yesterday's locals. Yeah, guys, that is the deck profile. I really hope you have enjoyed. Again, I'm sorry for this video to be so long. I wanted to go in depth for you guys to kind of understand my logic and my reasoning behind playing so many things. Yeah, if there's anything you feel I should change in the deck, please do let me know down in the comments. I'm always intrigued to hear what people think, and I mean, I would most definitely change some stuff for sure, like I said. Yeah, guys, remember to turn on that notification bell and subscribe if you're not already. And stay tuned for more deck profiles. And as always, until next time, it's your move.